Good evening, pre-algebra. Mr. Lawrence here with your flipped lesson for Wednesday, January 4th. We're plugging right along. Some of you really need to start watching these videos on a regular basis and getting ready for tests by reviewing them. We will have a quiz this week and a test next week. And then the quarter will end. The semester will come to an end. All right, quickly, we're going to review. I've got this equation, y equals 1/2 x. I'm going to make my big old table here. Let's see, I'm going to go with x, right? Y equals 1/2 x minus 3, y value, and then my ordered pair, my point. Okay, and remember, I'm going to pick smart things for x. Since I have to take 1/2 of x, I'm going to take things that's easy to take a half of. Like, for example, maybe I'll take half of -2. I'll take half of 0, and I'll take half of 2. And that'll get me my 3 points, and I can graph my line. So, quickly, I know I'm doing this review, but it's good for you to see. 1/2 times -2 minus 3. Well, 1/2 of -2 is -1 minus 3. It's -4. So my first point occurs at -2, -4. And I'll go ahead and graph that point. So I go from the origin, I count 2 left, and then 4 down. So 2 left, 1, 2, down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There is my first point. Okay, coming back to my table, I've got to do 0 now. So I'll have y equals 1/2 0 times 0 minus 3. Well, 1/2 times 0 is 0, so this becomes 0 minus 3, which is the same as -3. So this point occurs at 0, -3. All right. So I go 0 left to right, and I go 3 down. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now when I put 2 in, I'm going to get y equals 1/2 2 minus 1. 1/2 of 2 is 1. Oh, it's minus 3, excuse me. 1/2 of 2 is 1. Minus 3 would be -2. So y is going to equal -2. So that means the point 2, -2 is on my graph. Let me plot that point. So let's see here. 2 to the right and down 2, and there we go. And now I'm ready to draw my line. Get a nice looking line going here. Kind of like that. And I'll make it blue. All right. Now we can count the slope, right? Let me see. Let me circle 2 points. And it looks like if I move up, my rise number is going to be 1. I move to the right, 1, 2. So my run number is 2. So my slope, which is defined as rise over run, equals 1/2. Now, check this out. If I go up 1, run 2 from that last circled point, and then up 1, right 1, 2, and up 1, right 2, notice these green points all keep hitting the line. Yeah, they have to, because they're on the line with the same slope. I'm going to get the coordinates of this point right here. I'm going to call that point, I'm going to call it point Q. I'll call it point Q. I don't want to call it X because I was going to confuse somebody. And I'm going to call this point point P. And I'm going to write the coordinates of Q, which would be at what, 10, 2. And then of P would be, I think, at 8, 1. 8, 1. Okay, there's the coordinates. Now I just noticed something kind of peculiar. What would happen if I subtracted my x coordinates and my y coordinates? If I subtract my x coordinates, I get 10 minus 8, which is 2. If I subtract my y coordinates, 2 minus 1, I get 1. Look at that. I got the slope by using subtraction. Notice I did put my y's on the top because the y's, the difference in y's, gives you the rise. In other words, the y's rise to the top. The y's rise to the top. So what I'm trying to show you is I can figure out the slope of a line going through 2 points without even seeing the line, without taking all the time to graph it. Let's try one or two. Let's say we have these points here. The point 6, 7, and the other point will be 3, 2. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to subtract my x's. 6 minus 3. Well, that's going to be equal 3. Then I'm going to subtract my y's. 7 minus 2. That's 5. My slope is 5/3. Look at how easy that is. There's your x, there's your y, there's an x, and there's a y. Okay, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Let's try another one. Let's try 4, 12, and 6, 8. Okay. I'll subtract my x's. They go downstairs. 4 minus 6. And I'll subtract my y's. 12 minus 8. Now, some of you may have wanted to here write 6 minus 4. You could do that. You could subtract 6 minus 4, but then you'd have to subtract 8 minus 12. You have to be consistent in the way you go. I chose to go 4 minus 6, then I had to go 12 minus 8. All right, so 4 minus 6 is negative 2, and 12 minus 8 is 4, and I can simplify that fraction into a negative 2 over 1. You could go all the way to negative 2, but because it's slope, I like it to be a fraction. What I'm actually doing is using a formula that looks like this. I don't like to show the formula first because kids get all freaked out and go, I don't know what this stuff is. This formula is all I did before. Like, for example, if I have the point, say, 10, 3, and then the point 7, I don't know, 9, okay? And I looked at this first point. I said, you know what? That 10 is an x-coordinate, right? I'm going to put an x1 there. The 3 is a y-coordinate, so I'll put a y1 because that's my first point. The 7 becomes x sub 2, and the 9 becomes y sub 2. All I'm doing is labeling. I know 10 is an x value. It's the first one, so I call it x1. 7 is an x value. It's the second point, so I call it x2. And now I can just plug it in the formula. But remember, all I'm doing is subtracting my x's. So 10 minus 7, which is negative 3. And then I'm subtracting my y's. 3 minus 9, which is negative 6, which will simplify to positive 2 over 1. The two negatives will cancel out in the division. All right. It doesn't matter which, if I start with 10 or if I start with 7, but I have to be consistent. Okay. The 10 showed up on the left in the denominator. Therefore, the 3 has to show up on the left in the numerator. Oh, excuse me. All right, here, why don't you try these? We'll get some more practice with this tomorrow in class. There's problem A, problem B, all right, and problem C. Go ahead and see if you can find the slope of those. Pause the video. When you're ready, unpause it, and you'll see my solutions. Okay, if you've unpaused, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write x1, y1, x2, y2, x1, y1, x2, y2, x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, now I'll subtract my x's. I'm going to go with 6 minus 2. I know that's 4. Then I have to go with 3 minus 1. I know that's 2. 2/4 is the same as 1/2. The slope of the first 2 points, a line goes to the first 2 points, is 1/2. All right, problem B. I'm going to subtract. This time I'll start with x2. I'll do 6, starting with this 6 here, minus a -3. 6 minus a -3. That's the same as adding a positive. That'll be 9. Then I have to go with this 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. The slope is 1/9. You see how simple this is? You guys can do this. No big deal. All right. Oops, I'm screwing up over here. Okay, there we go. All right, on this one, I choose to start with the -5. So -5 minus -3, that's plus a positive. -5 plus 3, there's 5 negatives, 3 positives. That must be a -2. I have to start with the -4 now because I started with its partner downstairs in the denominator. Minus 9. I have 4 negatives. I have 9 more negatives. I must have 13 negatives. The 2 negatives will cancel out, giving me a slope of 13/2. What does that mean? Well, if I was on a graph and I had a point, I would rise 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then run 2 to get to the next point. And the line would go through those 2 points. Okay, that's it for today. We'll get some practice with this in class tomorrow. Mr. Lawrence signing off.